Good evening. Welcome to another edition of Whether or Not. I'm your host, Dennis Khrulov. We have our new student forecaster, Gavin Sandel, on the set this evening. And we will have a feature coming up later on the show introducing the new Whether or Not team. Anyway, Gavin, it's been a pretty hot week across the state. Do you see that pattern continuing as we head into the weekend and beyond?
First of all, it's great to be on the show, great to be with the rest of the team. I'm very excited for what's to come. But with the heat, we've had a lot of hot days at the beginning of the week, and really, I feel like as we go into the rest of the week and the weekend, that heat should die down, and maybe temperatures should be around average and maybe a little bit below average as well.
That's so great to hear. And we do have some interesting nature and news stories lined up for you this evening. Let's jump into the first one now.
As Hurricane Lee spins its way through the Atlantic, we have reached a point in the year where the Atlantic hurricane season is at its peak. Officially, the peak date will be this Sunday, September 10th, where on that date, there's almost always a tropical cyclone occurring in the ocean. This year, we've had 13 named storms, corresponding to the letter L in the alphabet. That makes it slightly above the to-date average of 8 in a 14-storm season. If this season did follow averages, we would currently be at the H storm. Several factors make September 10th the official peak of hurricane season. For one, sea surface temperatures reach their peak in the month of September, whose high temperatures are a major ingredient in cyclone formation. Also, the weather closer to Africa gets more conducive for cyclone formation at this time. Tropical waves that come off the continent are best developed in the late summer months, and dry air that comes from the Sahara Desert becomes less numerous, giving the waves ample amount of moisture to develop. All of those factors, plus others, are what tends to drive tropical cyclone formation up in the late summer months and gives us strong hurricanes like Lee. Once the peak of the season subsides, many of the conditions that would otherwise give us frequent and intense hurricanes will eventually weaken, and that should cause the season to taper off by late October and lead to the official end of the season on November 30th. Just remember, a hurricane can strike any time, not just during the season, so always be sure to have emergency supplies packed and a safety plan ready.
Taking things to the West Coast, over 70,000 attendees were trapped in a Nevada desert full of mud during the 2023 Burning Man Festival. Well, what is the Burning Man Festival? Taking direct quotes from the official website, Burning Man is a global ecosystem of artists, makers, and community organizers who co-create art events and local initiatives around the world. The event first came to life in the year of 1986 when Larry Harvey and Jerry James burnt a wooden effigy at Baker Beach on the summer solstice, which became a yearly tradition. Moving forward to today, Burning Man is a nonprofit organization and holds the event in a makeshift city of Black Rock City, Nevada, at the end of August into early September. The festival is widely known for the symbolic burning of a large wooden effigy referred to as the Man, and this particular event occurs the Saturday evening before Labor Day. There are no set performers or schedule, so during the event, participants design and build all sorts of art, activities, and the events. Unfortunately, the worst-case scenario came to fruition for these attendees. Heavy rains flooded the region on the evening of Friday, September 1st, which led to the local officials to close the roads going in and out of the area as the dry desert grounds turned into slippery mud. Keep in mind, the only way to travel into this festival is to travel a 2-lane rural highway or fly into its temporary airport. Those who were still at the festival were urged to conserve food and water as it was unclear of when the wet soils would dry up. As of Labor Day Monday, the roadways reopened and a large exodus of campers and vehicles were seen driving out of the grounds that Monday afternoon. There was one death confirmed during the festival, which officials have yet to resolve.
At the start of the week, our area saw unseasonably high temperatures. Some weather stations in and around State College reached the 90s. There have been some people throwing the term heat wave around, but that begs the question, what really is the criteria for a heat wave? Turns out the answer depends on where you live. On a map, heat waves are caused by trapped air from stagnant high-pressure systems. Because high pressure forces air downward, this prevents air near the ground from rising. Without rising air, there's little to prevent the warm air from getting hotter. For most of us here, we're used to knowing heat waves as a 3-day stretch of 90-plus degree days. However, other places in the world, such as the desert Southwest or the Middle East, break that regularly. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change defines a heat wave as a period of abnormally hot weather, often defined with reference to a relative temperature threshold, lasting from 2 days to months. This means that depending on the climate that you're in, your definition of a heat wave can vary. For example, across the pond in England, their criteria for a heat wave only takes 3 or more days of over 77-degree temperatures due to their cooler and wetter climate. Take a trip to Greece, and 3 or more days of 102-degree temperatures will qualify as a heat wave. Any thoughts of a heat wave for us now should be in the rearview mirror, as for the next couple of days, temperatures in our area should stay closer to average.
Friday, September 1st, rang in the beginning of meteorological fall. You may think to yourself, what are meteorological seasons, and what sets them apart from the accustomed astronomical seasons? To start it off easy, astronomical seasons have been used for thousands of years to dissect the 4 seasons of a typical year, which includes winter, spring, fall, and summer. These seasons have been based on the Earth's tilt and the sun's alignment over the equator, which determines the typical equinoxes and solstices. However, most of the time, Mother Nature does not like to follow these guidelines, which led to the development of meteorological seasons. Meteorologists and climatologists have developed a system to have seasons follow the annual temperature cycle, with the highest average temperatures following the summer months and the lowest during the winter months. And for fall and spring, those will be the transitional periods. Which method do you think is better for defining seasons, astronomical or meteorological?
So yeah, temperatures are definitely going to climb down the ladder from what we saw at the beginning of this week. We'll see temperatures in the 70s and maybe in the upper 60s, but not before we see some rain showers in our area. They're scattered in nature, so it won't be a washout, but definitely we'll see some clouds throughout the day, and maybe if you do want to, you can bring an umbrella. That'll definitely help from these showers. And as you go east from State College, portions of Long Island and Connecticut, maybe down the Cape of Massachusetts as well, it'll be a pretty stormy day. And then Saturday as well is definitely looking a little more rainy. Some clouds in our area with some rumbles of thunder for the Penn State versus Delaware football game that'll kick off at noon. And as you go up the eastern seaboard, there'll definitely be a lot of rain, more widespread than Friday, but still a little bit scattered. And then for Sunday, cooler, highs will be in the 70s, but it's still, this is definitely going to be a washout right here. Lots of rain will be in the forecast for our area on Sunday. So if you have weekend plans, this weekend might not be the one for it. Lots of rain and a little bit cooler than we did have at the beginning of the week. So for Friday right now, 83 degrees. Scattered showers are in the forecast. Maybe a possible rumble of thunder, but otherwise not too bad, and temperatures will be above average. For Friday night, 65 degrees, and we will see more widespread rain showers. Leading into Saturday with our Penn State versus Delaware game, tailgates, they will be a little rainy, although not a complete washout. For our noon kickoff, 71 degrees with clouds until we get a little bit of a rumble of thunder as we get to the end of the game and we get to our high of 76 degrees. Sunday's not looking too much better though, 75 degrees with showers, although the temperature will definitely be a little cooler than the start of this week. It'll be a little bit of a relief. And thank you for the forecast. We will head into our feature now, Meeting the Crew.
As we start off this new season of Whether or Not, we are pleased to announce 3 additions to the Whether or Not team. Each of them have amazing talent and backgrounds that will mold them into great presenters of this season and the next season of Whether or Not. And without further ado, here is Benjamin Iaia, Gavin Sandel, and Madison Ohms.
My name is Benjamin Iaia. I am a 4th year here at Penn State, and my hometown is Willow Grove, Pennsylvania, so about 5 minutes north of Philadelphia. And what got me into meteorology was Hurricane Irene in 2011. And Hurricane Sandy, the next year later in 2012, reinforced that passion for the weather. So on whether or not, I would like to be adding some kind of educational spins to the show to make it a little bit more informational for the people at home, along for us here at Whether or Not, as we are learning things from class and applying them to the real world.
Hi everybody, I'm Gavin Sandel. I'm a junior in meteorology and I'm really excited to be on the show this year. So I'm from Long Island, New York, and what really got me into meteorology is Hurricane Sandy when it impacted us. And I was just in 4th grade, so I was learning a lot. Our power was knocked out for 2 weeks and we had school off, so that really got me into it. And really where I'm from too, the nor'easters, when they come up, I'm just wowed by that, and that really got me into meteorology. And since then, in high school, I've really developed. I've been in my journalism program, I've done weather broadcasting. It's really brought me to who I am now. And yeah, I'm really excited to be on Whether or Not, and I'm just really excited to share my experiences with you guys and just share my knowledge, and maybe you guys will learn something about it. And yeah, thank you. I'm very excited to be a part of the team.
I'm Madison Olms. I'm a 4th year at Penn State. I'm from Garni, Illinois, which is about an hour north of Chicago. What got me into meteorology was the snowstorms that I experienced growing up in the Chicagoland area. I wanted to better understand the processes behind why we experience the storms that we do. On Whether or Not, I'm hoping to bring some fun ideas to you guys as to different treats and activities that you can enjoy as we move throughout the seasons together.
As we saw them make their official starts as hosts and forecasters, we were exposed to glimpses of greatness, and this can be attributed to their past experiences with WeatherCom classes and clubs, and we're excited to see the skills that they have learned from those clubs and classes into this season and the next season. From the Penn State Arboretum, and for Whether or Not, I'm David Guerrero.
So let's take a look at the extended forecast. First off, this weekend, not looking too great for any weekend plans. Friday, it will still be a little warm. 83 degrees is the forecast with those scattered showers, maybe a rumble of thunder. And then as we go into Saturday, game day, it will be a little bit stormy as well. 79 is your high. And as we get into the rest of the game, and there might be a little bit of storm activity and definitely some raindrops as you watch Beaver Stadium. For Sunday, it'll be a little cooler, 75 degrees with rain more widespread than Friday and Saturday in the forecast. And as we go into next week, let's see what's going on there. Monday and Tuesday will be a little bit above average in the mid-70s. And as we go into Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, it will be much cooler. Our average temperature for this time of year is about 75, 74. And as we go into the rest of the week, we might see temperatures up in the 60s. Which definitely is a relief, and definitely what we haven't seen in quite a while. Right, Dennis? It's definitely been pretty good. And are you excited to see those temperatures go down?
So I'm definitely looking for those cooler temperatures because it was pretty rough being on campus with the high heat and humidity last week. Anyway, let's jump into the Weather Whiz question of this week. We'll be talking about the lowering average temperatures. So the question states, on which date will the average high temperature fall below 70 degrees Fahrenheit in State College? Is it A, September 20th, B, September 24th, C, October 1st, or D, October 10th? If you guessed B, September 24th, you are indeed correct.
Wow. Only September 24th, that's 2 weeks away, and that definitely means that fall is on our doorstep.
So we do see our average fall temperatures drop throughout the fall period, and which means winter is not that far away.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for joining us this week, and stay tuned for next week's show.